Hey guys, CSGN here, back again with another wishlist video. You guys seem to really like that franchise wishlist video I did, so I figured, why not do one for gameplay? I touched on it, about some of the things people would want for gameplay, or not, I didn't touch on it, but people would want gameplay changes, obviously, for Madden 21. Personally, I think Madden 21 is actually, one of the first times you can actually say it was a step in the right direction for the series. We saw a lot of improvements compared to Madden 2019. Things like improved ball trajectories, sort of the nerfing of the super linebackers who would just be jumping 15 feet into the air, a better ratings gap amongst players, but we still have a ways to go for the series to truly have great gameplay. And so I came up with this list, just a few things that I wanted to see improved in this year's game that will be coming out in 2020. And also I want to note that these suggestions come from the perspective of me strictly just being an offline user. I don't play Madden online, whether that be in MUD or just straight up head-to-head with other people. So the things I want to see are going to be very different compared to someone who, maybe you're watching this video, you play MUD. Will want to see improved upon in Madden. My perspective is very different from yours. Personally, I think many other people thought the issue of sort of this multiple player bases within one game would actually be improved with the playstyles being introduced, but it's clear that the arcade, sim, comp playstyles don't make much difference in that regard. But before that, if you're enjoying the content I've been making, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos like this. So, number one on my list. Receivers need to actually fight for the ball and not get knocked off of their routes so easily. This has been an issue for a few years now, but it got worse in Madden 20, actually, in my opinion. Right now, far too often, you'll see receivers go into DB animations. How do I know these are DB animations? Very simple. Whenever you're throwing a deep ball, should almost be like a jump ball, really. Instead of the receiver actually going up to catch it, he'll go into this weird defensive back chase animation where he's swatting it out of the hands of the DB, who's more acting like a receiver than the actual receiver. And the real catch sign of that is when your wide receiver will celebrate knocking that ball out from the DB. Just strange. Very clear that's a DB based animation. Lock those animations, whatever you have to do. I don't want to see that in Madden 21. I'm tired of seeing my receivers not actually go for the ball. Route running needs to be fixed entirely going forward, I think. Right now, runners seem to be just completely clueless about where they're going, how to get around zones sometimes. They'll just run right into people instead of maybe undercutting a route, or not undercutting a route, but you know what I mean, changing their route, mid-route. If you're running a route, you're going to make that break and cut. You're not going to run right into the side of a linebacker. You're probably going to go around them or go under him and run the route a little bit shorter. These are things real NFL players do, and that should be fixed. Also, hot routing, that needs an improvement. For whatever reason, they locked certain routes for hot routing to be simply in a superstar ability. I believe a post route. That doesn't make any sense. Why can I not just make that hot route to any receiver? I don't know if that's a hot route locked to receivers with a certain superstar ability, or if it's with a certain quarterback where it opens up a bunch of other hot routes you can make. That seems kind of silly to me. Let me pick which routes I want to constantly hot route. Let me actually maybe change the route. So I want the route to be shorter. Do I want it, just give me more options that way. That's something I want to see in Madden 21. Number two, offensive line play. I'm not sure what the hell happened from mid-August till now, but it feels like offensive line play has taken multiple steps backwards in this game. One of my main complaints has to be when you're running the ball, you see a hole, And you're like, all right, let me hit turbo, hit this hole. And for whatever reason, because of the system they have put in place where if you hit the turbo too soon. So so your lineman is just gonna like let you get absolutely blown up. Vontaze Burfict on Antonio Brown levels of CTE is going to your player. Rework that system, because right now it just sort of blows up plays that shouldn't be blown up. Should you be more mindful of that? Yes, but sometimes it's just silly. Line play is something we want improved every single year, and it seems like we get it when the game comes out, and by the time we get to like October, it's sort of like just screwed up again because they overpatch this game. I kind of just hope we get something consistent throughout next year or this year. I swear that start of the new year always messes with me. Just something more consistent, and yeah, just rework some of the things on the offensive line. And also, we're going back to line play for this next one for number 3, but this is actually for the defensive line. Simply put, I want the quick time event, hit X, hit square. I want that gone. I don't like that. I want to go back to how it used to be, where you actually use the stick. I don't know how you would do this. Maybe you hold L1 for finesse moves in the stick with the right stick, and then for power moves you hold R1 and use the right stick. Something like that. That's just more dynamic. That's more skill based. I think I would actually really enjoy that. It'd be an improvement over what we have now, where it's just a coin flip. It's sort of left up to RNG, and I'm not a fan of that at all. I just don't like this whole like sort of almost sometimes you find yourself repeatedly just hitting X and square. You're just tapping X and square, hoping it works quickly. Not a fan of that. I want to see that improved. They always want to talk about skills gap and how skillful this game is. I think that's something that would add skill to the game. Knowing when to do finesse moves, when to do power moves, how to balance that. Can we see stunts? There's so many things that defensive linemen, edge players do to get to the quarterback, and they're not in the game. And they tried making up for that, I think, with the superstar abilities, but that's not enough. It's just not. It needs to be improved. Because right now you find yourself just quarterbacks having all day to throw, and they'll just constantly check down. Not something I like. So number 4, in-game matchup options. You hear it every Sunday when you're watching before the game, how this game, it's really come down to the matchups between the defensive backs and the receivers, or this lineman and Khalil Mack, or whatever edge player, or Aaron Donald, how teams have to game plan around these players. Why do we not have this in Madden? What I'm asking for is something somewhat similar to what you see in NBA 2K, where you can hit pause, go into the coach settings, set how you're going to defend this guy, who's going to guard him, how you want people to attack picks when those players are rolling or whatever. Things like that. I want those options in Madden 21. I could have swore they used to be. Best example I can give, let's say I want my defensive back I have Richard Sherman. I want him no matter what. I want him on DeAndre Hopkins all day long. That's something that should be in the game. I know there's probably ways to do that, but in my opinion, give us the options to sort of do that sort of stuff. It'd be nice. Certain blocking protections against players. Maybe when my running back's in one of those sets where running back's to the right of me, Khalil Mack's to the right, when he goes out on that route, instead of him just running the route, I want him to go and potentially chip Khalil Mack a bit. Just go there, chip him, then get out to your route. Just anything like that, I think would be really cool. It would give us more options to personalize our game plans against certain matchups, would make us more mindful of these matchups, and I think would make, put actual football knowledge in there, and, help make people smarter about football. You are the only football game in town right now, at least NFL-wise. And then number 5, this is sort of a twofold one. Less patches that affect gameplay in major ways throughout the year, or more sliders to compensate for that. This may sound odd, but for me personally, Madden every year goes in this cycle. It comes out, people like it. Say it needs a few tweaks, but apart from that, they're happy with the game we got. It's better than what we just got last year. By late August, maybe sometime September, we hear cries from certain part of the community that likes running up their credit cards for virtual card packs. I run up mine on Wendy's, better investment. That the game, whatever aspect of it is cheesy, needs to be nerfed. EA puts on a blindfold, grabs a shotgun, and just starts patching things. Things that we didn't even know needed to be patched, needed to be changed with gameplay. And then basically by the time they do that, they revert the game back to basic what it was the previous year. There was a patch this year where basically the game played like Madden 19 again. And Madden 19 kind of sucked. EA after that, after they've sort of pissed everyone off, after they've overcorrected things, then get in that cycle of patching the game every 2 weeks, it feels like we went through that this year, to slowly walk back any changes they made to the game with that patch. My hope for Madden 21 is just less patches in general that are gameplay focused. They need to stick with the game they put out at some point. One of these years, they just need to do that. Early on this year, felt like you could get to the quarterback. Eventually, you really couldn't, and it's never really gotten back to where it should be, in my opinion. More often than not, you just see quarterbacks standing back in the pocket with all day to throw. It's not something that I think anyone finds enjoyable. It will be like the most patchworked offensive lines doing it too. Offensive line play needs to matter. Those ratings need to matter. If I'm playing a bad offensive line, I should be able to abuse them. If something is broken, should it be patched? Yes, of course. But the constant pendulum... Okay, my recording just cut off right there. I don't know why I did that, but either way, the constant pendulum swinging has to stop. Not enjoyable, not sustainable. Once again, I said before, I thought the playstyles were going to fix this issue, but it hasn't. The only things that really make this palpable for the offline community, because we're the ones who always sort of get kicked in the teeth with this stuff. More slider options, please. Expand the sliders. We need more of them. We need to know clearly what these sliders do. Because it's really clear right now that some of the actual penalty sliders affect gameplay things. So, if you look at the Matt 10 sliders, he's really broken it down. I personally don't like his slider set, but he's done a good breakdown of what these sliders do. Those coverage sliders, he's really said it right. I don't think they really do anything. I personally think the strongest defensive slider is that tackling slider, because it does more than just tackling. It's almost like a defensive AI slider, in my opinion. Does more than just tackling. So we just need more slider options. We used to have more. We need more of them again. And so that's where I'm going to leave this one, guys. Once again, to reiterate, this list comes from the perspective of a mostly offline user. I know I'm a little late on this list. Madden 21 is well into development right now. But I hope these are just some things that we see in this year's game. If you guys have anything you think I missed, let me know below. Leave a comment. Also, if you like this video, leave a like. Be sure to subscribe for more. If you're already subscribed, hit that bell. Do all that. It helps appease the YouTube algorithm and helps me out. I'm CSGN. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.